Ba-dum bum bum bum. Slap back, chat Frat. Slap back, chat Frat. Slap back, Charlie Frat. Slap back, Charlie Frat. Slap back.
Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of Slapback Frat Chat. Well, after a small hiatus, we are now back.
Okay, this week's co-hosts are a man who has achieved so much in his lifetime. He has his own set of teeth and up to 7 of his own t-shirts, Mr. Dan Reid.
Hello, thank you very much. The Oracle, the Automaton, the back alley enema. Please welcome Mr. Jobot.
The Wizard Sleeve, the King of the Big Smoke, Mr. Russell, the No Fuss Hustle Garnet.
How do you do?
Bringing the funk, the tickler of the otter's pocket, the man who puts ace in base, Mr. Richard Fontaine.
Oh, hey, guy.
And last, and we have been told by his lawyers that he is definitely not least, Gerard Butler's beard double, Macaulay Culkin's life coach, Mr. Robert Harris.
Okay, how's everyone doing, alright?
Capital FM.
Tapow.
Cool like a fool in a swimming pool.
Okay, we've got some new segments today. We're gonna go through a few new things. We're gonna have a look at the big question. What's gonna be the big question today, Joe?
Well, basically, the big question is where we tackle some of the biggest topics that life has to offer. And I thought, what bigger topic to tackle on our first week than does God exist? And I reckon if we put our 5 heads together collectively, we could probably come up with an answer to that in 3 minutes.
Definitely. Okay. We're also going to have a little look at Yahoo's top answers and have a revisit of Hollywood rewrites, and also look at how we can possibly make Richard Fontaine the most famous man in all of the world. So should we kick off with a little bit of the big question?
The big question. Does God exist? Does he? Okay. First up, Russell Garnett, what are your thoughts? Does God exist?
Does God exist?
Yeah.
Prove that he doesn't, is what people would say. Prove to me that he isn't there.
Yeah. And what would you say to those people?
No. Why would I do that? You prove to me that he is there, you know? I would say the burden of proof is on you trying to suggest that God exists.
All right, so we've got like mini Richard Dawkins over there. All right.
I think that's a believer. He's a believer.
A believer?
Yeah, he's a believer.
Justin Bieber.
He is definitely a believer. There's no doubt about that.
God's got to exist because Justin Bieber's here. So.
On to the next question.
Yeah.
Well, that you could say. Look how beautiful Justin Bieber is.
Yeah.
It must be God.
You must be a believer.
If God didn't exist, how come his hair is so perfect? I mean,
That is very true. Have you seen the song by that guy we looked at the other day who was a Justin Bieber lookalike?
oh yeah.
Did you see?
Wow,
did you see the video?
look alike very loose.
Yeah, like in the loosest terms. Someone who's a man with some hair who's had a load of plastic surgery done.
He's got his 2009 haircut, but I mean that face is all kinds of wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There is like literally not one single part of that man's face that resembles Justin Bieber's. He spent £100,000. What a fool. But anyway, how are you?
Unbelievable.
How are you linking this to God?
Does God exist? Well, look at that video.
Well, you are like the group's Russell Brand. You're quite a spiritual guy. Where do you stand on the whole God issue, Fontaine?
Well, it's all a question of faith there, Webbs. You know, do you believe? Do you believe? Because I don't believe. So, I'm pretty spiritual. Yeah, that's got to be said. But God, I don't think so.
Are you then saying that if you believe he exists, and if you don't believe he doesn't exist, is God all in the mind? Is that what you're saying?
Fucking hell, Webbs. Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say, but I can't articulate words very well. So, yeah, you got it, mate. Done. Next question.
You look a bit like an angel at the minute, Ollie. Are you sure you don't believe?
Well, I'm unsure. This is a sort of half angel, part human, I guess. So, yeah, I think that's probably 50-50 on the believing structure.
And
I'll go with that. What's that, Rob?
You're on the event horizon.
I'm on the event horizon. I'm way on it right about now. There we go.
So, a bit of a retro sci-fi there. That's good for podcast. That's the sort of people who watch these. And then Star Wars. Stuff about Star Wars. So,
Oh, I believe in wars.
Well, Webby, you look a little bit like Princess Leia with the
Yeah.
and the bit in the.
And the face.
50-year-old Princess Leia. Can we finish a post-autobiography?
I refuse to not take that as a compliment.
Great. A lot of furious masturbating going on at this point. You can't see Russell's bottom half.
We need to get through the hour. Right.
So, Mr. Joe, Mr. Webb, do you feel like God exists?
Well, I mean, okay, let's take a few rationals. So let's take it one step at a time. We can say that the world exists, right?
Can we?
Are you not sure the world exists, Russ? Are you not going to? Well, we've got the thing is, okay, you can't necessarily trust your senses. I'm going to go with you on that, but the world exists in the sense that we can touch it, we can taste it, we can feel it, and we can see it, and we have photographic evidence and we have scientific evidence that it
I
exists.
can provide all of those things for God.
You can touch him and taste him.
Just the way he likes it.
Well, no, because some people say God is like in everything they do. So God is a lollipop, you know, and that's how you worship.
Is that why you're always sucking lollipops? Yeah.
Pleasure me, Russ. Pleasure me.
No, go on, carry on. You're making a good point. Carry on.
Well, okay, I don't know what point I was actually getting at, but I was trying to establish proof. Okay, so what people would say is if the Earth exists, something had to create the Earth. But I would say it's a logical, it's not a logical step to then say, well, that the Earth exists, therefore God exists, because someone had to create it. Because
Stars covered.
that's attributing something to someone, you know, that has no kind of logical consequence. It's like saying a banana exists, so a monkey must have grown it. Doesn't make any sense.
Looks
That's
like
not the.
I found a poster to back up a feature, which I think is quite nice. Look at these.
You've just covered.
It's a non-profit effort to convince mankind that God is real.
And that's the way God would want it, isn't he? He doesn't want any money out of this deal.
He hates profit.
Yeah.
If anything, God wants to make a loss.
Look at how these guys are. These two suits don't get God.
Oh, God. Who's this God guy?
I remember seeing a thing about a little video on the internet where these two Christian guys were eating a banana, and they were using the banana as evidence for God's existence because it fitted so perfectly in their hand, and it was curved in such a way that it just entered the mouth at just the right angle.
Yeah, that's really good.
Take from that what you will.
Yeah.
All right, so
Right, in conclusion,
it's inconclusive.
We need to literally wrap this up forever so that everyone is satisfied that this is definitely the final answer. That's the whole purpose of this, isn't it? So we provide the definitive answer. So does God exist?
We don't know.
We sound like fucking Top Gear now.
Yeah. Does God exist? We don't know. But if he did, he'd be the fastest God on the road.
Definitely not Asian.
yeah.
Okay, I think we can take a punt with Ollie's point about God could exist in the mind, and if he's real for you in your head, then
Is this
he can exist
Godception?
in that sense. I think we can say that God doesn't exist as a physical entity or a spiritual entity outside of the minds of people. I reckon we can all agree on that.
What a monkey? Could you train a monkey to love God?
You could train a monkey to do anything. Trust me.
So let's say primates as well. There we
Yeah,
go.
no, Roger's got a good point. What about a slug?
Well, what about a slug? What can a slug? Could God be real to a slug?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So well, God does exist. Slug God exists.
But I'm saying God does exist, but he exists
What
only
about some
in the
creatures
mind.
that don't have brains?
What creature doesn't have a brain?
Like amoeba?
A mollusk?
That's not a creature.
It's a creature.
Probably got a brain as well.
No.
Alright, let's have a next question. Does an amoeba have a brain?
Next big question on next week's The Big Question. Okay, right. So we're pretty satisfied that we don't really know if God exists or doesn't exist, but there is no proof either way. So it's
Well, I think that there is kind of proof one way, but I think we're going to have to. I think we're going to have to draw this up and say, for our first big question, we have singularly failed to provide an answer.
on next week's The Big Question, we tackle a slightly smaller question.
Can 5 people
Still
ever
failed.
completely agree on anything?
Just so Russ is aware that Russ was right, an amoeba doesn't have a brain.
Told you.
Yeah.
Only one cell in total. So there you go. No brain.
That puts us.
Is an amoeba a creature? That was mine.
It's a creature, yeah.
I don't know. So I
How
didn't.
do you define a creature?
I researched the brain thing. Can't have a brain cell because otherwise it'd be entirely brain.
Is it one of God's creatures though?
Oh.
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 Well,
All living things are God's
let's
creatures,
end on
Ross.
that bombshell, shall we?
But here's the thing, okay? Are we talking Christian God here? Because we haven't been very specific.
Oh.
Are we open to the suggestion there might be multiple gods?
Well, why not? If there's one God, there could be a million.
Yeah.
But if we're talking Christian God, he specifically doesn't mention amoebas in the Bible.
He hates them. He fucking hates them, doesn't he?
But he doesn't mention a lot of animals in the Bible.
No.
You know, on Noah's
Careless.
Ark. Yeah.
If you mention them, does it mean they don't exist?
Oh.
Well, if the Bible doesn't say something, does it mean it doesn't exist? I would say that not. I would say that things. It doesn't say anything about iPods, but I've got one.
Yeah, iPad. Yeah.
So obviously,
Does it exist?
do they exist now?
I mean, we are really transversing the limits of knowledge here, aren't we? We're pushing right up to the edge.
Back on the event horizon of knowledge, I think.
Yeah.
That's where Ollie is.
Yeah, that's Ollie's starting point of knowledge.
I think what we can do, right? Okay, because we have raised some. We have failed to answer the question. Sure, no one's gonna deny that. But no one can not say that we haven't raised some bloody good questions. So I reckon we compile these together and we tweet Richard Dawkins. If an iPad isn't in the Bible, does it exist? Yeah, get out of that, Dawkins.
Dawkins, you slag.
Because the apple that Eve ate, or was it Adam? One of them.
Yeah, an apple.
That's the first iPad.
Oh shit, yeah, that's a point. The
Yeah.
poison apple. Fuck.
And the Samsung Galaxy is probably in as well, because God created all the galaxies. So all technology is actually in the Bible.
Starting to all make sense now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not to mention the not to mention the Nokia Judas, which is a new model on the market.
See, like, it's almost like God planned all of this, so that when it came to the proof, it was always there. That's what God would do.
All right, so what are our questions for Richard Dawkins then? Bearing in mind that we are pretty much all atheists, but we seem to be taking the...
You've got to be fair. If you're an atheist, Joe, you have to be fair, and that's the only
Yeah.
way.
All right, so we'll say if God doesn't exist, explain Justin Bieber. That's one.
If you had to choose, what smartphone would God have?
Yeah.
We've got three options: the Samsung Galaxy, the Apple iPhone, and the Nokia Judas. The other three.
We could also ask him, kind of like which like on Facebook they have like which member of One Direction would you be? We could ask Richard Dawkins, which one of the disciples would you think you'd be? That'd be enough.
If God is real, and that's for certain, which God is real?
Oh, okay.
And
What is
do
the-
slugs go to slug heaven as well?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Can open some minds.
I mean, I think I can speak for him I could, when he's going to say that there is no heaven, so no, they don't. But I still think we should ask him.
Thinking about human heaven. I don't think he's ever thought about slug heaven.
That might make him question everything. Yeah.
No, that could just that little flip. It's that little flip that just makes.
Yeah. And if he writes back and say no heaven exists, we'll just reply and say no. I don't think you understood what we went. Slug heaven.
It's quite different.
It's quite. If all of your writings about heaven, but we are talking about something quite different.
Do you think slug hell? Do you think slug hell is just a ring of salt?
Yeah. It's not like we have a ring of fire, they have a ring of salt.
Oh, the bones! Okay,
Right.
and that sounds like the definitive answer to does God exist has not been reached.
But we have come up with some very good questions for Richard Dawkins.
Maybe that could be the point of this segment. Never solve anything but tweet Richard Dawkins.
I think we should get progressively further away from religious issues. So that,
Talking Dawkins, and we can just talk about things that Richard Dawkins would like to talk about.
I don't think we should limit it to things that he would like to talk about. I think we should just tweet him. Yeah.
We could do it live. And I'll get his Twitter.
This week we're talking about which band is the best band from the 70s. Richard Dawkins. What is your answer?
Dawkins Scorkings, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Dawkins Talk, or Talking Dawkins?
Yeah, talking Dawkins.
I was going for the scorking, like the tweet of a bird, but
Oh,
I see, yeah.
Oh, nice. Very
You know
nice.
what Richard Dawkins' favourite song is, though, don't you?
What's that?
Heaven is a Place on Earth. This is his favourite song.
Is that a fact, or are you?
Why would I say it? It's a fact. It's a fact. Is that Lisa Stansfield? Heaven is a Place on Earth.
Well, okay.
Well,
Yeah. Good tune.
Linda Carlisle.
Belinda Carlisle, yes. She is his favourite singer.
What about Jive Dawkins by the whatever they're called? What about?
So is this section now? Let's talk about what does Richard Dawkins like.
Yeah. I've got his Twitter. He's got a lot of stuff on his Twitter.
What's his favourite Disney film?
What's he saying, Rog?
He says his last tweet was, "Are unicorns mammals?"
Done a level.
That's a great question.
And then he follows it up, which sort of ties in. It says, "Might a philosopher ask that? Is God female?"
Ah.
And then it says, "Do theologians, is that how you say it? Yes.
Yeah.
Ask that." And then, "What were Hamlet's innermost thoughts?"
Nice.
And he's tweeting the world.
A very similar tack to what we were talking about.
Yeah, very similar. I quite like the idea of tweeting Richard Dawkins, so the first half of the sentence has to begin with, "If God doesn't exist, then why?"
Explain why.
And then just having completely inane stuff like, if God doesn't exist, why can't I move my little finger? Or if God doesn't exist, why have I got a cup of tea? If God doesn't exist, why am I so hungry? Yeah, why am I hungry if God doesn't exist? Answer me that, brainiac.
Because you've been drinking your cup of tea with your little finger up like this and has broken it and you haven't eaten.
That could well be it. But also, explain this. If God doesn't exist, why have I got this drumstick in my hands?
And why is it tapered towards the end?
Why? I mean, it's almost like it's designed to be. It's almost like it's designed to be held in my hands. And when I play drums with it, it's perfect. So if God doesn't exist, why is this a perfect tool to play drums with? Why? Explain that. Explain that with all your science and all of your philosophy. Can Richard Dawkins answer
Explain why drumstick fits so nicely up your ass? I don't know.
Okay, for something that's supposed to be 3 minutes long.
There you go. I found something on Richard Dawkins' page that will help prove that God doesn't exist. If you can. It says, if you're trying to prove that God exists, there are two very important things to remember. Reading the Bible is not valid research.
Boo!
I feel him in my heart is valid data.
I feel it in my fucking rectum.
Someone called Jen the Atheist has made this on what looks like a design program. So, she's answered our questions there.
Lovely.
Logical, angry argument. It's beautiful.
All right. Well, maybe we can revisit this. Maybe for next week we need to research some kind of biblical creationist kind of approaches.
If something else exists or not. It doesn't have to be God.
All right. Like what?
Lego.
No, I don't know. We'll think of something.
Does the internet exist? That's a good one. Yeah.
Compassion.
I mean, some would say.
Compassion. Wow.
Does what exist?
Compassion.
Compassion.
Compassion, yes.
Oh, I thought you said fashion, and I was all.
That's a better.
Better metaphor.
Does fashion exist? Let's look at all of our 5 outfits.
Ollie is topless, so.
No, it doesn't.
God's fashion.
God's fashion, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Ollie is dressed
Exactly.
in is God's favourite suit.
Exactly.
And what a lovely suit. Fits you perfectly.
Thanks, man.
All right, should we move on, having completely derailed that entire section?
Okay, go on then. Top answers.
The way this section works is that we just go on Yahoo Answers, we pick the top 3 answers, top 3 questions that people have written in, and collectively we try and give the best possible answer so that next week, or the funniest, so that next week we are voted in the top, the top answer. So, is anyone on top answers at the moment?
I'm on top answers.
Okay.
There's already some that I'm like dubious about reading out.
I've got a good one here. There's one question, one answer so far. It just says, "Is M a racist?" And then.
What do you mean from like James Bond?
No, I don't think so. Is what Queen's Lover says. So that's my one.
Well, I quite like the idea that a letter could be racist. Although I can't think of, you know.
What is the most racist letter?
Yeah.
Most racist to give to a Jewish person?
It's got to be N, because no other racist term is defined only by the letter. People call it the N-word.
N is so racist. You can even just saying it now, I'm worried. I'm concerned about saying it.
You shouldn't say it.
Not
You idiot.
N-word though. You're saying the N letter. So
Yeah.
Maybe we should start a petition to get it taken out of the alphabet song in primary schools.
All it's doing is causing trouble, isn't it? It's just in there, just causing a little bit of grief all the time.
But also get rid of M in that case, because
it's just buddy, isn't it? It's just there hanging out next to it.
But like if you're on the phone and you're giving out your postcode and you say EM, they go N. You don't know N.
Whoa!
They go, whoa, you bastard, that's their word!
Yeah.
You live in the most racist part of the town.
You would say N, wouldn't you?
All right. Well, I think we can reply to that and say no. N is the most racist letter.
Yeah.
I mean, we've
guaranteed. Admittedly, it's only one answer, so if we don't, we really not. So.
I don't think we're going to get a better answer than that. To say no, it's N is racist.
I've got one that simply asks, "Will I pass a drug test?"
How much drugs have you had?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Revised?
Yeah. That's a good one, yeah. First, ask him if he's revised.
That's nice.
Turn it on its head, yeah.
They could be a doctor, learning about new...
Or a pharmacist.
What about, I've just found a section on pregnancy and parenting, and I think we're all very qualified.
Highly qualified.
All right, so are we all agreed that what are we saying for the will I pass a drug test?
Have you revised is great.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Done.
that's good.
All right.
Done.
But, I mean, we're answering a question with a question, but it's Yahoo. It's fair enough. What are they going to do?
I'm not going to do anything.
Exactly.
I'm all right with it. Okay, so Rob, give us our next question.
Well, this one. My girlfriend has red hair, and I have hair blacks. As the child would be born, You can't write, but I think he means I have red hair. She has red hair. I have black hair. What colour would the child's hair be?
Say mix red and black together, and that is what it'll be.
Exactly that. So, black.
Rusty.
So,
Well, I'm just getting a battery.
well, I'm not very good at science, but it doesn't follow that it would be either red or black, does it? Because some genes are recessive. It could be one of the parents' colours, or so. Basically, it could be any colour, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the actual answer, isn't
It's
it?
actually more likely that it will be one of those two colours, though.
But not necessarily one of those
Not
colours.
necessarily, no.
So okay, so it could be one of those colours, but it might not be.
Who should get the bigger bedroom?
Who should get the bigger bedroom? Go.
Every time.
What are the options?
The options are. It's basically, is it fair for the eldest to have the smallest room?
Is it fair for the eldest to have the smallest? What would you say, Russ?
I think we should take the example of King Herod.
What, and chop off his baby's head?
King Herod.
No, so you get the biggest room, you split it in two.
Well, and then see who cracks first, because they love the room so much they can't bear to see it split in two.
And then the person who goes away from the room and says you are allowed to have it is the one who then inherits the room.
Okay, so King Herod famously said.
Okay, was this to do? This was originally to do with the kid, wasn't it? And they both had equal claim to it. And he said, "I will split the child in two, and you can both have it." Wasn't that the?
Exactly.
And then the one who eventually cracked and said, "No, don't split the child," was the one
Got the baby.
who actually got it. And he said, "Aha, you
With
proved
the
yourself."
bedroom. Yeah.
What the fuck was with him and kids? Like, he's just a terrible guy with a
Baby hater.
yeah. Okay, I'm pleased with that. Say, give him the example of King Herod.
You don't mention King Herod because that gives them the answer. You say split the room in two then.
Okay. See, I was going to go for the thing where we just tell him the King Herod story about splitting a baby in two.
Okay,
But don't tell him how that relates to the room.
Well, that would work too. It's a nice moral.
I think the moral of the story is don't split a baby in two. No, I think in all seriousness, I would say to him, it's not fair necessarily, but life isn't fair. So suck it up. You know. What are you going to do? Whine about it. You know?
But also, maybe the biggest room is in the bedroom because you've got more things to tidy up. You know, maybe in certain circumstances having the small room is actually better.
I think that's quite a good point. So say it's not necessarily fair, but you know, bigger might not necessarily be better. And as you're a 13-year-old boy, it's worth keeping that in mind as you progress.
Because life is only going to get like that from now on.
Yeah. It's best that you internalise this argument now. It will save you a lot of soul searching later. All right, we're done with that one, I think.
Videos progressively got worse and worse and worse.
I think it's getting steamy.
Yeah. Getting steamy with Richard Fontaine.
It is like a sauna in here, but hey, what do you do?
Look at that. Like, I had a fucking camera when I was like about 10 that was about that quality. Amazing.
Have you got a filter? Have you just put a filter on, like?
I think that
Don't really have a film on Russ.
I think you know how you can get sympathy pregnancies. I think the camera has like sympathy Ollie eyesight, where it's just mirroring what you can actually see of the world. Yeah.
How to get rid of ticks.
Gold, I told you.
But
See, this is why it's good not picking, you know, because you get these things. Okay, so what's the is the question? Is that it? How do you get rid of ticks?
That is it. That's all.
Okay, anyone need tick knowledge? Come on, put our brains together. Let's do this.
Yeah, you burn them off.
Yeah, you need to pour petrol on yourself.
You trained yourself like in the King's Speech.
Yeah.
You get what's he called, Colin Firth, to come round and just pick them off.
So are we settling with speech therapist?
Pay Colin Firth.
Pass on his knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Colin Firth became.
Didn't he? Gareth Gates started a speech therapy place.
Did he?
Yeah. I made that up. He might have.
Well, he's busy at the moment because he's joined forces in that Superboy band.
Oh yeah. What? Oh,
With Kenzie from Blazing Squad, Adam Rickett, Kavanagh of I Can Make You Feel Good fame, and Dane Bowers.
Oh my God!
Dream Team.
Yeah.
All in one group. All in one group.
Are they called Dream Team?
I hope so.
I think they're called something about like. It's called something like. It's called something like Fifth Story.
Yeah, Fifth Story.
Fifth Story.
Yeah.
That's
Because that is the height that you, if you jump off it, you can die from. So I think
Isn't that the hat of like the
I
cat?
think it's an analogy for this last chance of their career. Like it's live or die.
But chances are they will all just get crushed.
Yeah.
You know, guys, we're gonna have to probably end this in a murder-suicide pact.
Anyway, yeah. So I think speech therapist Colin Firth. I think we're all right with that. All right. Random fact of the week. Pope Pius XII died from hiccups. Done.
Random fact of the week.
Okay. This section is called Hollywood Rewrites. We take famous films, we discuss them, and we try to think of ways that they could be improved if they were to be remade. The first film we're going to look at is a stone cold classic, Jurassic Park. So, huge advancements in scientific technology have enabled a mogul to create an island full of living dinosaurs. John Hammond has invited 4 individuals along with his 2 grandchildren to join him at Jurassic Park. But will everything go to plan? No. Especially one of the park's own workers attempts to steal the dinosaur embryos and has to shut down critical security systems in the process. It's now a race against time for the characters to survive against dangerous creatures roaming all over the island. How would you improve that? I mean, it's hard to improve.
A classic. It's
Great.
But what could we do to make that a better film?
Change the soundtrack.
Okay.
Blazing Squad, anyone?
Okay, so it's just softcore London inner city child rap.
There we go. Good start.
What about changing it to a Cretaceous park, which was the period where they all became extinct? Therefore, it's just a park.
And they're all fossils.
It's just them flying a helicopter cinematically over Love Island. That's kind of it, and they have a good time. Maybe they go to Alton Towers.
Yeah, have a nice meal in the evening. I think the main problem is the dinosaurs wreaking havoc.
You just stop the havoc being made.
Yeah. Just park. Just call it park. It's just Richard Attenborough in a park.
It's a better film. That would have been an Oscar, that shit would. That's art house. Put it in black and white.
Yes, black and white and French. Put
Yeah,
it.
that'd be nice.
Le Parc.
Smoking.
No.
I like the idea that there would be an element of danger in there though, where like so it keeps the same dynamics where there's the kind of Jeff Goldblum doctor going, you can't open this park, you haven't even got adequate seating for people, and those swings aren't regulation. It'll be fine, and they have this big face off, and then maybe they're stepping some dog poo. And
I told you.
Why?
Done on a budget, because his catchphrase, the whole thing is "I spared no expense." So what about him doing it on the cheap?
Yeah. I couldn't really get any dinosaurs. I got some cardboard cutouts over here, and I got a little bit of barbed wire.
It could be instead of the tractor, it could be the tractor, and it's just like a dog with a turd on its head or something like that. And that's lots of crap.
I was thinking in, but I've just got some cement instead. So.
Play with that. It'll fast cry, so be careful.
Yeah. Maybe it just starts off as this big grand thing. It's like, look, we've had to make budget cuts. There aren't any dinosaurs, but we've got a couple of camels, and there's some horses over there. Yeah, isn't that a horse with a horn on its head? Yeah, I've just put horns on most animals. That's gonna have to do for now.
What are these? What are those scales on this cat? Oh, it's fine.
At every expense.
I quite like the idea that he's been duped and like he's spent millions of pounds, and they do the same big helicopter ride over. There's the sweeping cinematic score, and he's like, "Welcome to Jurassic Park." It's like, that's a dog with a horn on its head.
No, it isn't. It isn't. No. I spent £65 billion on this park. Where's the dinosaurs? They're very good at hiding. The dinosaurs are very good at hiding. They're in there somewhere for sure.
Maybe they just spend the whole film looking for the dinosaurs. It's just one man's fight against senility. Like, I'm sure I bought dinosaurs.
Good, it's got art house potential. So Rich Abbott losing his memory after being swindled in slow-mo black and white smoking.
Oh, and maybe it could be a bit like Shutter Island, where at the end they're just like, look, there never were any dinosaurs. You've just been, you're not even, you're in a park, not Jurassic Park. you're losing your mind, and we've just been trying to play along to help you out. But...
It's time to get back in the home, right?
Yeah.
Cat back. It's done.
But then the credits are rolling, and an actual dinosaur comes out, like for the sequel.
Yeah, nice. Jurassic Park 2. It was real.
Yeah. But I like the idea that perhaps the dinosaur just does a cheeky kind of wink to camera, like,
We were there all along.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wah, wah.
And then it closes in around his eye, and then,
That would be a much better film.
And then as the Looney Tunes theme tune.
Well, that's a triple twist. We've got we've got the dinosaurs that aren't there. Then we've got the old man who's actually losing his memory, and everyone's just playing along so that he doesn't kind of have a freak out. And then we have the triple twist at the end where the dinosaur actually is there, and he was right all along. I mean,
that's gold.
There were
gold.
There were no twists in Jurassic Park. So I think. All right, okay. I think we can wrap that up. Next up, sticking with a natural theme. We've got the Lion King. A young lion prince is born in Africa, thus making his uncle Scar the second in line to the throne. Scar plots with the hyenas to kill King Mufasa and Prince Simba, making himself the king. The king is killed, and Simba is led to believe by Scar that it was his fault, so he flees the kingdom in shame. After years of exile, he's persuaded to return home to overthrow the usurper and claim the kingdom and his own, thus completing the Circle of Life.
So beautiful.
That, I mean,
Watched it.
Soundtrack, no Elton John. Get rid of Elton John and have like a
Furnish.
George Michael.
Someone who would really jar with a lion. What sort of music do lions hate?
Wham!
Thin Lizzy.
This George Michael themed. So Wham. First Lion King, Wham.
It's done. What? Daft Punk.
Yeah, they'd be popular. No, they'd like that.
They would like that. They're pretty funky, aren't they, lions?
Yeah.
Okay. What about actually having real lions in the Lion King?
Well, Roger Rabbit, like real lions, but everything else is animated around them.
Yeah. And you could have Jessica Rabbit in the film as well.
Yeah, but Jessica Lion, even hotter.
I mean, she could improve any film. Let's face it. It's a stick her in anything.
I mean, Bob Hoskins died, didn't he?
Yeah, you could have Bob Hoskins in the Lion King.
Animated Bob Hoskins.
Reanimated, yeah.
Or reanimating, so bring him back like a zombie Hoskins.
Yeah, but make him play Super Mario.
The story is mostly about Bob Hoskins being brought back to life.
I'm not sure he should play any integral plot, role in the plot. I think just have him wandering across scenes with no explanation. Just Bob Hoskins.
We had some Gumbas in it. I always like Gumbas. Do you remember them?
How terrible was that film? That was so
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, there was not even a jangly coin or a mushroom. Nothing.
Nothing. So yeah, I think basically maybe have Bob Hoskins singing all the tunes, being a guitar.
Live action over the.
What about Bob Hoskins sings Phil Collins tunes? Just
Are they not the same person?
Bob Hoskins sings Phil Collins songs over the Lion King with real lions with an animated backdrop. This is great.
I think it should be real lions doing what real lions do, just like brutally killing zebras and fucking hard.
Yeah.
Over the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Bob Hoskins in a gorilla outfit playing the drums.
That's good. Just eating chocolate.
Yeah, and he just says it's good to talk, and then walks off.
Where's the lions coming into this? Are we having lions anymore? Or are we just are we just saying the Lion King could be improved by being an entirely different film? Could be improved by being a Cadbury's advert featuring Bob Hoskins, a mashup of the Cadbury's advert and his own BT advert from the 1980s.
Phil Collins biopic.
Yeah, we're gonna give you that synopsis, and we'll leave the leg. We've got the big idea. Someone else can stretch that over an hour and a half, but basically, it's Bob Hoskins playing something
in the middle.
Oh, actually, Phil Collins seems to have actually wrote a song on the Lion King. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Which song?
I don't know that.
Which one?
You'll Be in My Heart. Don't know it.
Okay.
I think it's Against All Odds.
Hold on. I think he might have wrote the Lion King musical.
Just
Phil Collins.
Bob Hoskins.
Phil
Wrote the Lion King musical.
Collins. Hold on. A wicked photo. Screen share this. Look at Phil Collins with his friends. Who'd have thought this would have actually been a tie-in?
We can't see it.
Oh yeah, we can.
Oh wow. Go on.
There we go. They're the Lion King. Little Phil Collins there. Look at him. He's having a great time with his hunky.
He looks like he's having a day out from his school.
He's on day release. It's like on Derek when he goes to the zoo.
He does look a bit like Carl Pilkington, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Whoa, I'm very zoomed in.
Cool. Well,
All right.
sounds like we've wrapped up Lion King there for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Should we? I'm not entirely convinced that was a plausible film, but we'll move on. The last one, and this one I'm really excited about, primarily because me and Ollie used to really love this film. We must have watched it a lot of times, and it inspired both of our childhoods significantly. The film was White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Billy and Sydney think they're the best basketball hustlers in town, so when they join forces, nothing can stop them, except each other. Uh-oh. To add to their problems, Billy owes money, and he's being chased by a pair of gangster types. So basically, they're basketball hustlers. They pretend to not be good, and then they're actually really good, and that's how they make their money.
What changing the title to Black Men Can't Jump and making it like a Martin Luther King style biopic, like a really powerful film about race.
Starring Bob Hoskins.
Yes, Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins doing blackface.
Two brothers, one of them's black, one of them's white.
What about like having them as minstrels?
Yeah, I think that's got legs.
Well, that could be the twist. It could be called Black Men Can't Jump, and then at the end it turns out the reason they can't jump is because they're white men.
Or what about black man, white face, white man, black face?
It's got a very good kind of George Formby style soundtrack. It's sung by Bob Hoskins, obviously. If only he was alive, he'd be jumping on these ideas.
Yeah, we're just too slow, aren't we? We could have been like last year. We could have revived his career.
You could have pitched this to him, yeah.
Now you're a celebrity agent, Russ. You could actually probably get into his people.
No, yeah, I could go to his grave.
Would it be a bad taste to pitch it to his people now?
Yeah, just pretend you don't know. Just be a really awkward agent and keep pitching to like dead people. Like, we've got a really good idea from River Phoenix. Email Whacking or whatever he's called.
Yeah. Okay, right. So how would we make White Men Can't Jump better? Me and you discussed possibly changing basketball for cricket.
Well, I think I like the idea of keeping them as this exact same characters, like streetwise hustlers, but hustling kind of maybe old men on cricket fields in England.
Or like a bowls field.
Yeah. Come on, Sydney, man, step it up. Just like as they go into bowl, just going, man, your mother's so fat. She's really, really fat, man. You ain't shit, man. And just disrupting kind of parochial kind of countryside cricket games and not getting anywhere.
Be up!
Would you keep the title the same, or would you? Because they wouldn't be jumping anymore. They'd be.
Well, that's it. I would still keep jumping in it, but you would just have other characters from the film repeatedly telling them that it's not necessary to jump in cricket. Man, you don't know cricket like I know cricket.
What about White Men Can't Punt, and it be about like driving barges down Amsterdam canals?
Oh, that's a good one. But they.
Yeah, and there could be like a barge rivalry, and one of them's better, one of them's not. They fall in the water a lot. There's a lot of slapstick. We set in Venice, smoking, black and white, slow mo, Bob Hoskins.
Get a couple of dinosaurs in it.
Yes, dogs dressed as
Live lions.
lions. I reckon just a combo of all three. That would make it
Yeah, White Men Can't Jurassic Lion.
What about they actually can't jump because they're disabled?
Well,
Yeah.
we've discussed this, and I think this is off topic. I think this goes into an area which will have to be edited out.
Or maybe it could just be a really short film where it's just a load of black guys playing basketball. Like it cuts to them, it's 10 seconds long, and they're all trash talking to someone off camera, going, "Man, you can't even jump, man, Whitey." And then cuts to him, he's in a wheelchair, and he just says, "That is really not okay." End of film.
It's done. Quite nice. It's like a short. We can enter it in a competition.
Yeah.
What a treat.
It's not because I'm white, you dickheads.
But then, just as it's fading, a black guy could come in a wheelchair and do a slam dunk.
Yeah, doing a spin.
Yeah, and then he could wink at the camera. The screen could close around his eye. Wow! That's a film. That's a great little short. All right.
Do you think we could be known as that? Could be like our thing as directors. That could be like our final shot.
I thought you were going to say directing disabled people. That's our niche.
Okay, well, I think we've done bloody well there. I think we can move on from that. Should we do a little bit of fine tuning and then wrap it up?
I think we can definitely wrap. I reckon we can wind through. I reckon we could quickly do When Will I Be Famous if you fancy it.
Okay, let's stick with that. Okay, so When Will I Be Famous? The idea behind this section is that in the weeks between this podcast and the next one, we are going to now spitball some ideas that we're going to put into practice to try and make Ollie famous.
Good.
So Ollie.
It's like Ollie's been fading throughout the whole podcast.
Oh, no. I've changed races. What the hell's going on?
Life force fading.
I need fame. Give me fame.
It's great. You
Oh,
had
no,
back on a bit.
So let's just briefly outline, Ollie. Why would you like to be famous? What's so good about fame?
why would I like to be famous?
I mean, is it worth doing? That's what I'm saying in the first place.
Oh, completely. I think it was Ross who once said, "When will I be famous?" And I think I heard that when I was a kid, and I was like, "When will I be famous?" And I think that's really what started off the whole thing, really. So but what I'm intrigued with is how are you guys going to make me famous? This is a new thing for me. So
Okay. Well, let's talk about what ways do people normally get famous. How can we make fame happen in 2 weeks?
Paedophiles. Quite renowned.
Quick soar to fame.
Yeah. I mean, it's the trajectory is quite a sharp one, and you become famous very quickly. And there's a real pinnacle there. I'm not sure what happens after that. I don't know if you. I've never seen one sustain it over the years, unless you die.
No.
Or
I'll
keep.
go maxi dick fuck and then die.
That's route one.
I'll go for that.
Move on, Ollie, you've got 2 weeks.
If you're alive by this time in 2 weeks, you will not have succeeded.
I think are we gonna kind of issue a kind of talent kind of stuff? Like, are we?
Well,
I don't have any
prolific love of children.
Well, I mean, there's the Russ's controversial suggestion of being a prolific paedophile. Which I mean, there's no denying that could get you notoriety, but I don't quite know whether that's the same thing as fame. I mean, your face would be on the papers, but you probably wouldn't be invited to be on Graham Norton, for example.
That's very true. I feel that's cheating. I think the paedophilia route's like, an unworthy kind of, as direct as it is.
It's route. Yeah, it's armed, it's a long ball game.
It's a shortcut, isn't it? It's
Short
just a
ball
shortcut.
Sure, I want to go for the long 2 week game.
Okay, what about some kind of celebrity porno?
Yeah, we
No
got
celebrity porno.
baby, and Ollie has sex with it.
Like, going down the celebrity porno route, I think, like, look at Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. Like, no one had even heard of Tommy Lee before that. I mean, he was an unknown entity, and then all of a sudden he was a drummer.
Yeah.
Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton porno that elevated her to a new level of celebrity slag.
Yeah, she was a.
What are you about to speak with then?
Well,
We just need to find the right guy. So that's all.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, I think what's hot right now? One Direction, isn't it? That's,
Finn or something like that. That got that woman a bit of fame.
No, I'll tell you who's hot right now. Politics.
No.
Nigel Farage.
Oh my
Political
God.
hot potato.
do
That's
you
it,
think
wouldn't it?
get Nigel Farage in a porno with you?
would you?
I think that's more doable than fucking kids, yeah.
Here's the twist, though. I think the thing that would really sell it, Ollie, is if you did it in blackface, because although I'm not condoning doing blackface, I think that would really put a twist on the story with Nigel Farage that the paper would go mad for.
Can you
Isn't
end it
Farage
with
scared of gays anyway?
If you were dressed, if you were in blackface as
And
some
if he
kind of-
was using the N-word at every available opportunity.
yeah, dressed as Adolf Hitler.
In a nappy.
Nigel, can you just put that German army outfit on, please, for
and
Those
instead of watching porn to get yourselves aroused, you were just watching Bulgarian immigrants leave. I think that story has all the elements of a combustible tabloid phenomenon.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could do that.
It's achievable in 2 weeks too, as well.
I reckon so. He's pretty hot property right now, so how do I pitch it to him then?
Tweet him.
say you want to be Prime Minister, I'll make you Prime Minister.
I honestly think that you should tweet him. Just say, just a suggestion.
Just outline what we've kind of wrapped up there. Just
or explain to him that he's basically got a lot of people thinking he's a racist and probably quite homophobic.
Yeah,
You could kill a
three
bird
birds with one stone.
Yeah.
or one bite maybe. Oh.
My one caveat though is have we got a contingency plan for how Ollie is going to sustain his fame after the Farage debacle?
Cameron next. Cameron. Clegg.
Well, so next you could dress as Rebecca Brooks and fuck Cameron. All right.
To be honest, we've ruined this segment because we know what Ollie's going to do every week now.
Well, at least I've got a hobby now.
Yeah.
What other things Ollie do to get famous? Savage.
Well, you could do a funny video on YouTube where you get hit by a ball or something like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's strong. That's very strong.
You've been framed her. Okay.
Yeah. Or
What
you
about hitting Lisa Viley with a ball?
Nice.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
and then demanding 50 quid off her.
Yeah, 200 and giving her a...
Throw a ball at her head and then just 250 quid, please. So you're not even filming it.
Am I?
Well, there's I mean,
they were also Big Brother, reality TV. That's another shortcut.
Oh, saying that, I have
route.
met 3 separate links to Made in Chelsea in the last week.
Okay.
Can I get on that?
Yeah.
you met them.
Yeah, I've got links now. I've got like weird links. So I'm trying to marry Binky Felstead, and it's going pretty well so far. You know, yeah, 3 separate links in 1 week. So that's my next plan. So if I can get married to Binky Felstead, then I can go Made in Chelsea. Then I'll be famous. How about that?
Or how about this? You dress up as a tramp.
Dress up as well?
No, the same. The end result is the same. You get to be with Binky Bumstead.
Oh, okay.
But here's how you start. You dress up as a tramp. You go to Chelsea.
Done.
QED, see what happens.
That's what I'm saying.
You start off with a bit of background work. So
But you do a coming to America. So you dress up as a tramp,
Exactly.
make her fall in love with you, and then say, "Actually, I'm a prince." And, but then you're not a prince. That's where it gets tricky.
That's the twist.
That's the twist.
But-
You double twist her. I'm a prince, and then she gets really excited, and then.
But I'm a paedophile on the rise. Couple of things.
Once this barrage thing comes in, I'm going to be quizzing.
And you could be my bride. So that is another route.
Okay. Well, done. All right. Well, I'll crack on with that. We'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon you should keep your fingers in a number of pies. So try and marry the Made in Chelsea girl. So tweet Farad, see if he's up for it.
Nothing can go. No harm can come from that.
If she doesn't respond to your initial overtures, dress as a tramp and try and give her a bit of Coming to America. And if that doesn't work, you could try and be some kind of famous tramp.
Lord Trampington of Trampshire.
He's the comedy tramp that just won't say no.
Anything.
Political platform.
All right, okay. That's gold. Thank you, Ollie. Let us know how you get on.
Okay. Full report next week.
Yeah, okay. I mean, hopefully we won't have to hear it from your mouth because we'll see it in the media. Yeah. I was going to say, yeah. What was hot right now is also, Conchita First and Eurovision, but
Yes. Bearded ladies.
but I think there's already one bearded lady. I don't think that another one coming along is just going to.
What about this?
Yeah.
Flip it. No, flip it. Clean shaven man.
Nice.
So.
And then demand equality.
How can you get you on Eurovision next year as the clean-shaven man. It's a long sentence, but we could start this. This is a process that would work.
No, but we'll
You're
have to have a sex change to start with to make it real.
Yeah. Okay, I've got you. So we switch him round, and then we switch him back over, but only with pens.
Correct. We...
You could draw a cock up.
That would be a shortcut.
And then we'll get you to gyrate in front of party poppers and stuff. We can make a little promo video.
Okay, all right. I think we can wrap that up. That was some fine work. Are we going to wrap up the whole podcast there, or?
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for joining us. And if you made it to the end of the episode, then you get a small prize. That prize will be decided next week.
Congratulations! I was close on dipping out. So if you're watching this and you stay, fucking good on you. All right, see you next time for another edition of Slap Back Chat Frat. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.